For the past few months now, I've been wanting to make some sprites for the channel, especially with how much editing I've had to do for my last two videos, cause as fun and new as it was, I figured out pretty quickly it's not something I want to make the norm. I especially don't want to relive exporting the same video 6 different times to get past copyright. That wasn't fun. That wasn't fun. So I decided to kill 2 birds with 1 stone and not only make the sprites, but also make a video on the process. What started out as a simple project somehow ended up with me going through a mini character arc and having to finish the script, voiceover, and editing in 1 day. So this is probably gonna be my most scuffed video so far. This video also might have some background noise because I recorded this at a not too great time. If I wait anymore, I don't know if I'm gonna get this out by tomorrow, so yeah. Sorry, I'm very professional, I know. Enjoy the mess. First things first, I needed a new persona. I already had one for a few years, but I didn't like it anymore, especially since I used it as a base to design another character. I have a nice streamlined process for designing characters, but since I'd be making sprites out of this later, and this was supposed to be a character that would represent me for who knows how long, I wanted to put more thought into it. Did I want to stick to my usual style or try something different and experiment? How do I want to present myself? What vibes do I want to give off? If anyone watching this is interested in making a persona just for fun, then my advice is to be as self-indulgent with it as you want. Your persona doesn't have to be accurate to what you look like whatsoever. Go crazy, go silly, have fun. If you want to be a silly little cat with every color the human eye can see, be my guest. But if you're planning on using it for other reasons, then at that point, you should definitely implement some stuff like color theory and shape language to make it more coherent and visually pleasing. This isn't a character design tutorial though, so I'm gonna gloss over a lot of things, but maybe someday I'll make a character design tutorial if anyone's interested. Who knows? But back on topic, I doodled a quick concept sketch a couple months ago and still liked it a lot, surprisingly. It was very simple to what I usually do, especially with the color palette, but I still liked it. It was neat, it was nice. I went on Pinterest and got a bunch of pictures to help me get a better idea of what I wanted for the clothes, art style, and overall aesthetic. I ended up leaning towards a lot of cute, girly, feminine stuff, and also stuff with the Y2K aesthetic. I genuinely don't know, by the way, if people say Y2K or year 2000. Anyway, using the mood board and concept doodle, I went to my sketchbook and dumped out any and all ideas I got. I'm a bitch for horns, tails, and sharp teeth, so that was a must-have, no questions there. And I also really like the idea of having a cloud theme with the hair. Maybe it could change shape and colors to reflect her emotions, and maybe the visor could show some silly stuff to reflect that too. Taking a bit of inspiration from murder drones there. I really like how expressive their visors are, so I wanted to yoink that a little bit. So after a good amount of doodles, I felt like I got a good idea of what I wanted and was ready to start the first batch of rough drafts. The first batch is where I make 3 designs and do my best to have them be different from each other to make sure I've explored all of my options. I took notes of everything I liked so far and got to work making the second batch of rough drafts. This is where my options slim down a lot more and I get a better idea of what the final thing's gonna look like. I really like the thigh-high stockings with the leg warmers and skirt, but that combination felt like something I had seen a lot already lately. I went back to the wide pants since it drew my attention more, especially since I wanted to look like one of those pants where if you stick your legs close together, it just looks like a long skirt. So then you put your legs apart and then bam, pants, you fool. I'm not feminine at all. Very demure. Now we get to my favorite part, where I make some small alterations and have my eyes darting all over the screen to see which one I'd like better, only to have several hours pass and still not be able to pick anything. Very demure, very cool. Sigh. I sent these to a couple of friends for their input, which helped a lot, and I should definitely do that more often. I never really do this because anytime I've done it before, I end up picking the opposite of what my friends pick and I feel really bad about it afterwards, but it does still help and I don't think they really mind it, hopefully. So after getting some feedback, I realized I really wanted white to be the dominant color in the design, but the third version looked too simple. And the first one had too much black. My eyes kept going up and down looking at it. So the second option was the winner. I turned the black into a dark blue to lower the contrast a little bit, made some final adjustments, and bam! The design was officially done, and I'm pretty happy with how it looks. There's still a good chance I might want to change it up a bit later, because I have this thing where whenever I design a character, I still end up coming up with another idea later on, and either just have them be inconsistent or not let myself deviate whatsoever, which I don't like doing. So if you see any future drawings where she looks a little off, no you don't. She always looked like that. Whatever you're seeing currently, just look away. Look away respectfully. But at this point, I was ready for the next step, which is the turnaround sheets. I never do turnaround sheets. I usually do like a front and back, but since the hair is so geometric, I wanted to get a better idea of what it would look like from different angles. But I was a little cheeky and I skipped doing any 3/4 angles. Is this a professional turnaround sheet? Probably not. Did it get the job done? Yeah. Actually, I didn't even need these in the end, but it exists now. That is there. Not even 2 weeks in, and we've already got a design and a turnaround sheet. Great progress. We love to see it. Nothing will go wrong from here. Definitely. This is not foreshadowing whatsoever. All we had to do now was make the sprites. Not yet, actually, I lied. Because first, I needed to figure out where these sprites were gonna be and how they generally look like. Did I want them to be placed in a white void or in an actual background? How did I want the character to be facing the viewer? How much detail did I want to put in? So I made 3 thumbnail drawings to figure out the gist of it. And while I liked how cool this one looked, she seemed too far from the camera. So I chose this one instead to give it a more inviting feel. You know, maybe you broke into my house, maybe I broke into yours, but that doesn't matter. We encourage parasocial relationships here. That is a joke. I don't like you. You in particular. I don't like you. Ew. Yuck. Pleh. Die. I also got the idea of having a giant window in the back with some clouds slowly scrolling through it. I didn't know if it would look good or not, so I made a bigger sketch, threw it into my editing program, and this is what I got. Looks pretty good, but I forgot to color the floor, so it kind of just looks like this room and couch is in the sky, which is really funny. I almost considered leaving it like that. Kind of regretting it now. So I started the line art for the background. I kept the background pretty simple to give off that liminal space aesthetic. No, I was not lazy to draw a background. Leave me alone. Get out of my house. But now that I had a good idea of the background and overall position of the sprites, now was the time to actually make the sprites. Now, I haven't made sprites before, and I was racking my brain over what to use as a reference. I looked at other YouTubers I like to watch, and the closest thing I could find to what I wanted was Ginja Ninja sprites because they were full-bodied and very expressive. The only problem I had with it is that they were static. Technically, they move and flip around, which looked great, don't get me wrong, I love them. But I didn't want my sprites to move like that, since it seemed like extra editing to do in the long run. And then I realized I didn't even know how many sprites I needed or what sprites I needed. I tried thinking of some games I'd like to get some answers, and lucky for me, I've been slowly chipping away at Ace Attorney. The game has half-body sprites, but still feel very expressive, so I decided to collect Maya's sprites and study them. I noticed that the body mostly remained the same, only changing slightly on very few occasions, but in contrast, her hands, arms, and shoulders changed a lot. So I decided to have my Sona sit with crossed legs and keep the legs static for most of the poses, only moving them for extreme expressions. Another thing I noticed was that Ace Attorney characters blink every few seconds when they're idle. And while I love that feature a lot, I decided to only have the visor be animated. I wasn't too fond of this decision though, since I did really want more movement, but it was the more efficient option. Then I wrote down the expressions Maya had, drew my own little versions of them, rewatched one of my videos to see if I needed any more, and ended up with a total of 22 expressions. Oh boy. I wasn't sure what to scrap at this point since I liked all of them, so I figured I'd just start actually making the sprites and figure it out as I go. Plus, with the simple style I was going for, I knew it wouldn't take long to finish, and I had plenty of time to kill. Everything was fine. Except everything wasn't fine because I didn't want to work on this anymore. My progress took a nosedive and I was extremely slow from this point on. I would just draw one pose and already think like, ugh, can I call it a day now? It got to a point where I wasn't focusing on having fun with it. I was just pushing myself to get it over with, which sucked a lot. There were so many times where I'd sit down to work on it only to open a new file and make, quote, warm-up sketches and then go, oh, oops, a couple hours passed now. I guess I'll eat. Usually when I work on something for a little too long, I reach a point where I get tired of it and need to take a break. So I did. I came back and I still didn't want to work on it. Okay, unfortunate, but not alarming yet. I thought maybe subconsciously I felt overwhelmed by how much was left to do. So I made a list of every small task that needed to be done so I could just speed through it like a checklist. That also didn't work. Time was running out and I was confused. Why wasn't anything working? Why didn't I like working on this anymore? And why did I hate what I had already? Why couldn't I just finish it? And the problem, my dear viewer, was that I wanted to finish it. Yeah, I couldn't finish the project because I wanted to finish it. Hear me out. I have this really bad habit of getting stuck in my head thinking about a million other things I want to do. And because of that, throughout this entire process, I was trying very hard to be efficient and to just get it over with. And I ended up getting rid of things I wanted like shading and blinking, which yes, made the process faster, but it also made me hate working on this. So I was just stuck in this loop of I want to work on this to finish it, to do something else and be happy. So I'll just mull through this, but oh no, I hate this now and I hate working on it, but I have to finish it, and so on and so forth. This has been a problem slowly creeping up over the past few months, and it really kicked me in the ass this time. I hate that I developed this mindset to start things just to get them over with and move on to the next big thing, hoping it'll make me happy and proud of myself. I don't like tying my happiness to an outcome, knowing fully well that even if I achieve it, I'll just move on to the next thing and not give myself a pat on the back and stay miserable. And this wasn't just affecting my art too. Anytime I played games or watched shows or movies, I would think, oh, I can't wait to finish this and get it off my list. And I don't like that. I want to have fun making art. I want to enjoy media and get inspired by them, not just see it as something to check off of a list. At some point, I was talking to a friend of mine, and he said something that stuck with me a lot, which was, passion is the action of finding enjoyment in the moment. I thought about what he said for a while, opened up Photoshop, looked at what I had done so far, and asked myself, what can I do to make this better for myself? What can I do to be in love with this right now? So I finished up the line art and decided to add some shading to the character with a polka dot brush, as well as adding a cast shadow on the side to make her pop out more. My favorite change, though, was finally adding blinks to almost all the sprites. These weren't even hard or huge changes to do, but it made a really big difference for me, and I ended up loving these sprites a lot more now. I literally finished all of these a few days ago, but I am so happy with how they turned out, and I'm really excited to be using these in the future. This whole thing made me realize that I'm not good at staying in the present, unfortunately. It's been a problem I've had for a good while now, but I really want to change that from now on because it heavily affects my art and personal life. I'm tired of thinking I'll be happy once X happens, because fuck that. If you want to be miserable all the time, there is your shortcut. Trust me, I know. You can always be a little bit happier right now, whether it be by just changing into a slightly more comfortable sitting position, or I don't know, getting a snack, or maybe by watching one of my videos. Just taking a minute to think, what can I do to make this better for myself, helped a lot with this, and I really want that to be my default mindset for everything. But yeah, again, I'm very happy with how this turned out. Recording this was a nightmare, by the way. It's been very noisy the past couple hours. Not fun, not good. I don't like it. Now that winter has passed, I'm feeling more like myself now. So I've got way more energy, and I am very excited to see what I'll be working on next. I've been obsessing over Trigun and Severance a lot lately, so who knows, maybe next video will be on one of those. I hope you all have a good day or night wherever you are, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye. I swear to fucking God, I'm gonna blow up a train. I'm gonna blow up a train. I'm gonna blow up a train.